So it's time for some beer can chicken, 11 style. What I've got here is just a nice, just a quick little roasting chicken. I've got some butter. This is my secret weapon. I've got some really nice Portuguese olive oil and some fresh garlic and some spices that are going to go on this. I also have, this is the tool that we're going to be using to actually cook the beer can chicken. There are lots of different options out there. There are some really simple ones where you actually just insert a can. This one will take a can, or you can use bottled or draft beer for it as well. That's what I'm going to do today because I actually don't have any cans of beer. So the first step for this actually now is my secret weapon, and that's not just relying upon the beer to keep the chicken moist, but also to be using some butter. So I just slide my fingers underneath the skin, both the top and the bottom. And this is especially important for the breasts, just because they're the part of the bird that obviously gets dry the quickest. So I'm just going to dig my finger under here and root around a little bit and get that butter in there. And then I also want to do the same for the legs. So the way that I do that is just coming from the bottom here and hook your finger around and get it in for the legs and the drumsticks. So then I'm just going to, this is salted butter I'm using, by the way. It doesn't really matter, that's just what I happen to have on hand. So I get the thigh, the drumstick, and I'll do the same on the other side here. You just kind of feel and break through that connective tissue there. And prep up side number 2. So you can see that's a really quick way just to get this butter, and it's just going to melt into the meat as we go. So now what I'm going to do is create some seasoned olive oil. So I'm just going to really quickly clean up my hands and I'll be ready to go for that. Okay, so I've got here about 5 cloves of garlic that I just kind of chopped up here. I'm going to get that into the really nice dark green olive oil. I'm going to crack some pepper into it as well. This pepper is awesome on chicken. A good amount of it in there. Then it's time for some paprika. And I am certainly not shy with the paprika. Love the stuff. Get 2 to 3 tablespoons of that in there. That was probably about a 1/3 cup of olive oil initially. And then a few teaspoons of kosher salt. I'm just going to really quickly blend it up. One nice thing about using all that paprika is it turns this a little bit pastier. I'm gonna add maybe just a touch more. It'll help adhere to the chicken a touch better. Stir that up. Let that salt dissolve just a little bit. Now, let's get that bird going. So I'm going to take my little roaster here. I'm just gonna set it on this other pan just for ease of transport. So, first, fill with beer. What I'm using here is like a Christmas ale that I have left over from Christmas. Now that the sun is out and it's really warm outside, I don't feel like drinking this. Well, I guess I'm gonna drink about half the bottle, but it's got some nice spicing in it. A lot of people just use your regular mainstream lagers for this, which will certainly do the job of helping create a really nice moist chicken. However, it won't add any extra flavor, so I mean, why not do that? Now, before I throw the chicken on there, it's time to just get all nice and goopy here. Get this stuff all over the chicken. I'm going to wind up reserving just a little bit of this oil mixture, and that's going to go on the chicken right before everything's done here. The last 10 or 15 minutes or so. And so because of that and the fact that it's going to be in the hot grill for a little bit, I'm not worried about kind of contaminating it with my chickeny fingers right now. Here we are. All right, and then lastly, I'm just gonna put a little bit of that, because it's got chunks of garlic and stuff in there. And sorry bird, this is gonna hurt you more than it hurts me. Shove that right up there. A little bit rough with it if you need to, just to make sure that it is secure and not going to fall over. So looking at this, yep, that is pretty good. It's going to take some of this extra stuff that I've got some of the garlic, rub over it, and there, good to go. I will meet you out at the grill. Okay, grill is ready. I've got it hot. I just pulled out the top rack part because that's going to interfere with the chicken. And now I'm going to set it on here. I've got it set up for indirect grilling, so it's actually, this one I've got on full blast. I'm going to turn the middle burner down to half. And we're going to let it just sit like this here. In about halfway through the bake, essentially, I will turn it around, and that way I'll kind of get an even crisp on there. The other thing I'm going to do, because this will take about an hour and a half total time, once I get this thing around 350-ish, is I'm going to wind up inserting this below, and I'm going to add some potatoes. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to add it right now, just so you can see what it's going to look like. Set it like so. I'm going to wind up adding some baby potatoes to this, and I'm going to get those things seasoned up here right away so they kind of soak for a little bit in that. And then they're going to get all the drippings and everything coming off of this bird. So I'm going to close this up, let it get up to around 350, and let's go check on those potatoes. So this is going to be our potato blend. I've got potatoes. I also have half of an onion. So this is just a standard size bag of baby potatoes. Half an onion, and then I also put in 3 cloves of garlic, but I left them kind of bigger chunks because they're just going to be adding flavor, and I don't want them to burn right away. So if they're a little bit larger, that will help out. So I'm going to add a good chunk, a few tablespoons of nice olive oil. I'm going to add, surprise, surprise, some paprika to that. I'm going to fire on some kosher salt here and some fresh cracked pepper. I'm also going to track down, I've got to go pull it out, some fresh rosemary that's going to be added to this. So I'll grab that, and then we will start to spin this stuff around. So here's the fresh rosemary. I just realized that this is going to be an awesome addition to these potatoes. Just going to rip this off, toss them in there. I'm just going to leave them as this size. Again, it'll probably help prevent any kind of burning, at least not as much as I would experience otherwise. I'm going to give this a little toss. And these are just going to kind of marinate in this seasoned and spiced oil here for half an hour while we start off that chicken, and then they'll get to hang out there and collect the drippings and everything off that chicken for the last hour of the bake. So there we are. Here we are, we're half an hour in. Things are looking awesome. What I want to do now is add my potatoes and my onions and my garlic and all that fun stuff. I'm going to dump some of those in there. I'm going to spin around using my silicone glove, just like so. And get the rest of these on here. And now what this is going to do is any of these drippings that are coming off this chicken that's now starting to get warm, they're going to just sit in here and bubble away. And I'm going to kind of toss them every now and then and make sure that everything is coated in that beautiful, delicious sauce. So there we are. I'm going to let that go for probably about 45 minutes and then check on it again. Oh yeah. Things are crisping up nicely. It's just time to toss some of these potatoes a little bit here. Gonna leave it sitting still in this orientation for just a little bit and then probably turn it back the other way. Nice. So it's getting to be time for a temperature check. So we're gonna look at this. This is getting up, oh yeah, we're up over 160 there. Sweet. And in that thigh, getting in there. Check out those potatoes. Okay, yeah, that's up around, almost around 170. I'm gonna give it just a little bit more time. I'm gonna crank some of the heat here, and I think I'm just gonna give this a basting. So 1 second, let me get organized. Okay, got myself ready for some nice basting. So I've got the last of this oil here. There's still some nice little chunks of garlic in there. Lots of paprika, there's some salt. I'm gonna let this kind of crisp up a little bit more and just get that much more flavor going on. Get that a little spin for a second here. Oh yeah, make sure to get those legs. Just like that. And then there's one last thing I want to do before I close this up. Last little fun trick here. I'm just going to pop this back over using my gloves so I don't burn the crap out of my hand. And that'll be to just add a little liquid to the situation. Last of this beer. Pour that on there. That's going to start to steam up here right away. Awesome. Now this is an absolutely integral part of this process, and that's scooping up all these sweet drippings and getting them all over the potatoes. You can drizzle it over the chicken. Things are getting nice and saucy and delightful. You should smell my backyard right now. Alright, just because I feel like it, I'm going to try something a little unorthodox and something I haven't done before. I'm going to take this chicken right out of here. Still has that right up its butt. I'm going to try and crisp that skin up just a little bit more. Just turning it like so. Get some direct grilling action going on. Nice. Just so it's a little more firm. Beautiful. Look at that. Alright, as soon as I have this off, I'm going to show you a little trick with the potatoes here. Look at that bird! Gorgeous. Okay, one last move here with the potatoes. They've had a lot of simmering and stuff going on with the juices from the bird. However, I'm going to now toss them right onto this little pan that's been collecting everything, so they can do one last little saute with the drippings. Just for a minute or so here. Get them all right up on this. Nice. Get all those onions off because I'm going to basically scrape everything off of this pan into a bowl here in just a second. A little bit more of that. Woo! Flambe! Beautiful. Oh, so much flavor happening in here right now. Look at those potatoes. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm just going to give these a second and then I will throw them into the bowl. Oh my, check that out. Look at those potatoes, glistening, crispy, super flavorful. This amazing chicken. This thing is basically rested enough. We're going to take this inside and slice her up. There we are. Chicken is all pieced out. Breasts are sliced up. These amazing, crispy, saucy, savory potatoes, and then a little tomato salad on the side. Amazing. Now this is absolutely taking chicken to 11. Now this is an absolutely fire